And welcome everyone to the June 2026 Evergreen Cataloging Interest Group. I am Jennifer Weston. I'm the facilitator of this fine group. On behalf of all the members of the organizing committee whose names are listed at the top of the agenda, as always, we welcome you. I am very excited for today's topic. We've got quite a few members of the organizing committee that I'm just going to hand this over to in a moment as we talk about library of things and see all the great things that your libraries are doing. If you are new to this particular group, I would just like to welcome you very much. We're very glad to have you. We meet every Tuesday, second Tuesday at 2 o'clock. This is our regular link, and it's always on the Evergreen calendar. Typically, we have a standing agenda, which I'll talk about, and we usually spend a little bit more time with it than I'm going to today, but I'm excited to make sure we have plenty of time for the discussion. I'm going to just hit on our standing agenda items very quickly. This agenda link, which I am guessing most everybody had, even though I sent it out with all of 10 or 15 minutes to spare. The agenda is always posted to the wiki. I'm going to pop it into chat if you've missed it. I was starting to say everybody has the ability to edit this as we go along. I do take notes, and several members of the organizing committee help me take notes as we go, and then I'll clean it up after. But it's already posted to the wiki so that the agenda just becomes the notes for the group. So again, if you're new, that's the way this works. Our agenda goes up and then it just becomes our notes. We are recording and it will go up to the wiki as well, usually within a week or so. I don't think I did last month's. It's been a busy month as usual, so I'll make sure that May and June get up by the end of this week, I promise. Okay, so if you're new to the group, say hello and let us know that so we can welcome you appropriately. You can just drop a note there in chat to do that. I said I would run over standing agenda items. The way this works is it's clearly a Google Doc. There are multiple tabs. The standing agenda item has a link to it from the regular agenda, or it's on a separate tab. Again, I said I'm not going to spend a lot of time other than just to tell you what's on here. We usually go through any kind of new release and we highlight those. And so those are there for now. We have links to the newest releases. And actually, yes, there has been a new one since the last time we met. Tabular release notes have been updating. We talked about that a bit last month. We'll talk about it a bit more next month. If I started talking about it now, I would keep talking too long, but if you're interested, please take a little look at that. And then I do have one quick announcement that the community demo servers has been updated. The one sponsored by Equinox is now updated to 3.16.6. So the nice thing about the community demo server is that you can test out a version that perhaps your library is not on. And I'm seeing Darcy's note. Hi, Darcy from King County, not new to this group, but you are starting up library things at Issaquah. Fabulous. So I hope you get some good ideas today. The community servers. So these are our regular release notes and resources notes. We do celebrations, various things going on in the community, just an advanced celebration, I suppose, or announcement that community bug squashing is coming up about the time we meet next month. So we'll be participating in that during our next meeting in July. There's a map, and I won't click on it, save the time, but this is my little passion project to be able to look at a map at where we all are. So if you are new to this group and you click on the map and you see that your organization is not on there, it's anonymous only in as much as it doesn't have your name, but it will have your location. So if anybody's missing, please click on this Google Doc that says Cataloging Interest Group on the map and add your name to the bottom of the list. And I will make sure you get added to the map, or at least your library location does. And just a couple more things. We do keep track of all of your libraries. This is completely optional for you to share with us what version you are on and if you plan to upgrade or if you just upgraded. So again, everybody has access to this. So if you see that your library is not represented, please add it. Or if you're represented and something's going on that you want to add notes, please do so. We'll spend a little bit more time on this in July as well to see what people's plans are, whether they're upgraded recently or getting ready to. I always like to hear how that experience is going. And a lot of people are represented on here, so fantastic. And as I continue to talk at my rapid speed here, Catalogers Connect, this is where we recognize our sibling interest groups and working groups. And we say, first of all, thank you for everybody that participates and leads those and is actively attending those. We've got just a link to their individual pages and then their meeting schedule and next meeting dates. If you are participating in any of these and you see that a date needs to be changed, please go ahead and do that as well. I just pulled off the regular calendar, knowing the regular schedules. It's lovely as we have so many of them now, they don't fit on one page anymore. So keep rolling. If you are interested in any of these, please go and then bring back information to this group afterwards we love the being able to cross over between groups and sometimes we spend time in this group talking about other interest groups and what's going on, for example, with permissions or reports or documentation. Not today, though. And then usually have a note for announcements. Often in these programs in our calls, we will talk about specific Launchpad bugs. These are just quick and easy links to particular types of bugs. It helps you filter. So if you're looking for bugs that have tags that say new plus cataloging, for example, or staff catalog or needs discussion, we have hot links to those. I did update the numbers, meaning how many of each of those there are. So that's effective as of today. Again, next month is we're going to spend just on bug squashing. So we'll come back to that next month. All right. And I see a note from Sue at Cass County, Missouri. Thank you very much for being here. You'll get to see what Missouri's doing and then what some others are doing. All righty. There is oh gosh, I almost made it in 5 minutes, 6 minutes. That said, let's go back over to the current program. We've got others that are still joining us. I haven't missed anything, just my regular announcements for those that are just joining now. So that said, we've just gone over the standing agenda items, and I am very happy to turn things over to the organizing committee. I said this before we got started. I did these in alpha order by library system because it seemed fair. So Mary, are you here? And I think there are four. Well, I know there are four of you, but if spend maybe 10 minutes each, and that sounds fair, and then we'll take questions as they come in. I will be the note taker today, so I will anything that you share with us, I'll grab screenshots and put resources in here so that we'll be able to share those out afterwards. Okay, now Mary, I can let you answer since I asked you a question.
Yes, I'm here. We
Okay,
handle things centrally and create many, brief mark records for the libraries to add their items to. And for more detail, I'd like to hand this over to my colleague, Jess D'Onofrio, who's present.
oh
So,
great.
Jess, you want to tell them what you've been doing?
Oh, sure. So for the Library of Things, it seems like a lot of libraries kind of wanted to share this stuff or circulate this stuff in all different ways. So we've more recently come up with a policy around it. And so when libraries ask us for records for their Library of Things, we have a little basis for how we're going to do things. Um, for example, like really big items, those don't get shared out with amongst our libraries. So um, we don't really like create, because for a while we were creating some full records that go into the OCLC database. Um, but currently we're kind of just doing mostly the brief records, as Mary was saying. And we just add pretty much whatever information that the libraries are looking for to be searchable, whether it's just for staff purposes or for their patrons to actually find the items. And some libraries prefer to have one record with like a bunch of things on it, while some prefer to have individual records for each item or kit. Um, that's pretty much all I can think of right now. I don't know if there's anything else I need to touch on. Can you think of anything, Mary?
I'll mention that the title will accept whatever they want for the title, but we use a three-letter prefix for the library so that other libraries won't use the record for their library things, keep everybody separate. And the other thing with the prefix does is if they wanted to, they could browse their collection and everything would be co-located by the prefix. Anything else, Jess?
That's all I can think of.
If I hop on your public catalog, will it show me any of these? Can we see them?
Yeah, there should some of them you should be able to see. Let me see if I can find one. That's a good option. Trying to think of one I've done recently that might be helpful to look at. for this purpose.
Jess or
Um,
Mary, Julia in the chat is asking if you know how many roughly Library of Things items you have in your consortium.
no, but
But it's growing
it
all the time.
it's yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I'll do like between I don't know, 20 to 50 for one library sometimes. And we have 81 libraries, so um yeah,
Oh,
it's a gr big number.
I have a question for clarification. So you add bibs per library regardless of whether or not they're the same item?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want them commingled. We want everybody's cake pans to be kept to themselves.
Is this the, like, do you do special collections like that in general, or is this specific to Library of Things that you do it this way?
We've been doing it for years for their museum passes, and the same principle that everybody's passes for um, the children's museum it's only on the record that belongs to that library. It's easier for holds. We don't want holds. People placing holds across libraries, they should just deal with that library.
Yeah, that's a great point about holds. They're always tricky.
So I guess it's fair to say you do not allow holds across libraries, so you won't transit your library of things.
That
Some
would be,
libraries
yeah.
choose to do that with some items. If it's transit, like it's small enough to transit, they do it. But we're trying to, as a policy there, that's kind of what they came up with, that if it's small enough to transit, then, and it's okay with the library to transit, then they would, but otherwise, um, they don't allow holds to transit.
And sorry if you covered this already, but how do your patrons find these things specifically? Do you have them as a subject heading or a series or just keyword search of a certain keyword?
It would just
Um,
be a keyword search for the most part,
right.
except unless the library specifies anything that they want in there. We do like with board games and puzzles. Some libraries do choose to kind of treat those with this brief record, and we'll have the subject headings for those, but for the most part, we don't add that much detail unless the library requests it, just because it's kind of supposed to be a quick turnaround time sort of thing.
Right. There could be a contents note that might list all the pieces that are in this thing. Um,
Right.
we defer to the library about what they want, and the contents note is keyword searchable. If they want a summary note, that's also keyword searchable. And our title, even with the prefix, the library's patrons can find it using a keyword or title keyword. So we let the libraries tell us what they think they can, they want the title to be.
Okay. So I'm looking at your cake pan, and I see there's your prefix there for your library.
Mm-hmm.
There's your
Yes.
Christmas cake pan, and then I'm looking at the marks. You've got some nice little wash and hot soapy water. You've got even notes like that to describe more options that'll show
Well,
up
that
in.
one I think actually migrated from their previous
Oh,
system.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Then
So
I should
we
find a
um
better
we
one.
added the prefix when we merged them in
Okay.
just to
Makes
follow
sense.
our process.
All right. And you catalog them most as kits then?
Right.
Depending on what they are, yeah.
Okay.
Right. We do have a couple of templates that are format based, and so that provides the right format search.
Darcy, I also have templates that I'll be providing.
Masterful. Okay. This is great. Okay, so we've got a link to your library if we just want to play around, and I'll stop doing that because I recognize I'm sharing and you're watching me as I just kind of
Mhm.
bounce around there. But we could just do something like kit or mixed materials or any number of those things that we wanted to see. Is the shelving location, again, that would just vary by library as well, then. They're not all Realia,
Correct.
but
We
we
have
do
some
have
that are
them.
actually literally library of things
Oh,
as their
nice.
collection. So they'll use
That's
that
cool.
shelving location.
That's cool to know. Where's your shelving
Yeah, the
location?
libraries, if they need a new item location, they come through
Mm-hmm.
our help desk service and locate, and they have to define how long they want things to circulate and whether holds are allowed. So those are set up. Just as some, although we do have other help desk staff that can take care of the item definition, yeah, so they need to work out with that help desk staff what circ modifier they should use depending on what rules they want to follow.
Cool. All right.
How long the items should go out and if they're holdable.
Very nice. Okay. Thank you, Mary and Jess. And thank you for being here, Jess. It's great to have you. Okay. So if we have questions, I am going to, with permission, put contact information for everyone who's presenting on their library today. I'll put that in the follow-up, but I'll wait for permission before I do that. All righty. Carol, trying to see who else here. You're up
I'm here.
next. Do you want me to make you a host? Do you want to share anything?
I could.
All righty. I'll stop sharing and find you. And oh, wow, there's so many people today. This is fabulous.
Yeah.
No, where's Carol? There you are. Okay, I'm going to make you a host because I didn't turn on the presenter flag apparently. There you go. You should be host now.
Okay. Share. Let's see. I'm going to share screen 2. And
There you are.
here I am. I have no idea which screen you are actually seeing, but
I'm seeing
let's.
Chicopee Library of Things webcam is the title.
Excellent. All right. So, and Cynthia is also here, I noticed. So if she wants to jump in, then she can feel free to do so. So one thing I'm going to share as well is this is our staff site, and we do have a full page of Library of Things, just details. So our consortium lets the libraries create their own Library of Things records. So we don't have anything to do with it unless they contact us. We do have a couple of things that we say that they need to do for their Library of Things items. And one thing I will note, we do have a couple of records that are shared records because they were created long before Library of Things became popular. So one thing is the telescope record, and we do have libraries occasionally decide that, oh, that's going to be our Library of Things local record. And so they update it and it's like, no, don't do that. That's the shared record. So we've put a note in here. So we do have a number of templates, just general categories: audiovisual, board games, home and assistive, recreation and crafts, science and technology, and then just a generic Library of Things collection. And there you can see just, I don't know, this is actually old. We thought we had updated this page, but it hasn't been updated with the 315, so this looks a bit older. So the one thing that they do need to do
is for the 245, they need to put their town, and everything after that starts with Library of Things, Recreation and Crafts, whatever title they put in. And then they can also add a 246 that just has, Grafton Recreation and Crafts, or whatever varying title, but the 245 has to be their town name and then Library of Things. And we also have the 830 for a series as the town Library of Things. That way, if people do notice that, oh, hey, Library of Things, what else do they have? They can just click the link and they all show up for that library. So apart from those two things, libraries can be as detailed or as brief as they want, although we do obviously suggest trying to make it findable for people. So libraries have the choice of having one master record for all of their things and then just add all of their holdings to that. They can have, smaller collections like the home and assistive or recreation and crafts, or they can have one bibliographic record for each thing. So if they have like hotspots, they could have however many hotspots on that record, but it would only be for hotspots. Or they could have one record per game. So it can look like this. And then some libraries have provided, said we could use their records as examples on the staff site. So I have opened them up here. So this is a smaller town and they don't have very much, so they just have some kits on here. Baking pan, gingerbread man. They have binoculars and a springform pan. And theoretically, that is their only Library of Things record total. And you can see it's not holdable. And they do have a basic table of contents. We do have some subject headings in our templates, so they can add or change as necessary. And I'm showing you these. These are on our regular catalog. So if you just want to put that in, let's see, do we have a chat? Oh, thank you. Yes. So here, and then if you just click Library of Things, then some thing should show up. So this one is a kind of group of things, audiovisual. You can see they have like an amp, a disc player. Yes, and we do that. And I believe we've added that to the templates. I can open up a template shortly, but so you can see they have various audiovisual things here, digital video converter, VCR. They have some drives, virtual reality glasses. And again, all of these are not holdable. And same with this, they have various memory kits, not holdable. They have board games. Now this library I was just at today, this morning, and they were wondering, one of their questions for me, they have all of these tools on one record. They have the call numbers. They have it available, but they can't place holds, even though it says it's holdable. And they wondered why. It's because they don't have parts added for these. So they can't select, to have a cordless leaf blower. If they placed a hold on something, it would just pick whatever was caught first. So I explained that, yes, you need to add parts if you're going to do it this way so that libraries or the patrons can place a hold. And one thing, we do have standards for parts normally, and we have pages and pages on that. However, because this is a local record, they can put on whatever parts they want. So we don't tell them what parts they need to have. We do suggest that they have a consistent standard for their parts, but they don't need to follow what we have on our site for standards. And I don't think I opened it up. I'll try and look for it. There was one library they were confused about because it was puzzles. And so they had, all sorts of different kinds of puzzles on there. And the parts they're using are all the number of pieces. So if you wanted they have one that's like 4th of July puzzle. Well, it was a 500-piece puzzle, say, so they have a 500-piece part. So you couldn't actually place a specific hold on the 4th of July puzzle if that's what you want. You can place the hold for a 500-piece puzzle. And again, you get whatever you want. So I probably have to contact that library to make sure that they have that set up the way they actually want to. And then you can have your specific per item record. And some of our libraries have started adding their little creations for cover images so that it's more patron friendly to see what they might be getting. And again, they don't have parts on it, but in this case, it's all the same webcam, so it doesn't really matter. They just want the webcam. It doesn't matter which particular one they get. So I just want to see if I can find that one. I think it was, yeah. So here you see 4th of July, it's a 300-piece. So if somebody put a hold on that 300 pieces, they might get another knitted gift from grandma instead of the 4th of July puzzle that they really want. However, it isn't actually holdable, so it's not that big a deal, but still they would want probably to make that less confusing. Let me open up one more thing would be new mark record. So here we have LOT, and all of our templates for Library of Things start with LOT to try and make it a bit more easy to find. So here you can see it's a bit more detailed. We do have some standard subject headings that we include in there. We have the 655, we have the 655 here, and then we do indicate here town name, and they are supposed to change that to whatever their name is. So this is more detailed than what we previously had. I guess that's about it. Cynthia, can you think of anything that I overlooked?
I don't think so.
All right. Well,
Carol, I was typing as you were opening the template. What did you say that they all have a prefix?
LOT.
LOT. Oh, that makes sense, doesn't it? I didn't want to assume. Thanks. Would you be able to share one of your templates with us afterwards, even if it's just
Sure.
yeah, however it's easier to share the template.
Okay.
Fabulous. Excellent.
So
I have so many questions about libraries make choices, but that's really not what today is about.
All right, so let me stop share.
And next will be if you just want to make Kate the host now.
If I can find Kate, Kate Coleman. Make host.
Great. Let me share the correct screen, which sometimes seems easier said than done.
Indeed.
Okay, I think I'm sharing the correct screen. So just with the last two consortia that have spoken, I've already gotten several ideas and questions because as with all consortiums, we do things differently as well. We do have shared records, though every library in our consortium can make their own records. But if someone has a record in there and your board game happens to match it, then you can also place their different libraries can place their holdings on one bib record. However, as we have all spoken about, that mucks up holds a little bit. And I will say that generally speaking, most libraries do not, in our consortium, do not lend their library of things across the state or anything like that. However, we can't make them unholdable. My library personally, we can't make them unholdable because we have 4 branches and we do send them among our own branches. So that's another level of complexity. But so we also have a keyword search that we put in all of the bib records. But just in researching before this meeting, I found out that that's not really working as well as I would like. So we are already brainstorming different ways that we can make that happen. But so this is, of course, the staff side of Evergreen, and I have done Library of Things, and then I do have just my library. I'm searching just my library so that I can get my shelving location of Library of Things. We have like board games as a shelving location. We do have some specific telescopes have the specific shelving location, but generally speaking, we use the Library of Things shelving location, regardless of what shelving location it is. If it is a Library of Things item, it gets that keyword search of Library of Things JCO in there. So we have, like the other library consortium here, we have everything from games to, as you can see, home tool type things here. We have lots of musical instruments, though nothing that you can put your mouth on. We have cooking things and easels and all kinds of different really cool things. So in Aspen, we also can use that keyword to search for things. We do have kind of a, I would like to work on a new project to have more custom covers here, though some of them we do have like the actual covers of something that's in there, or we have a photo of the kit that we've used. So this one, for instance, like it's a whole foster family kit, but we have used one of the book covers as the cover for it. Here we have a period kit to introduce your period to young ladies. And let me see, let's look at a bib for these. So again, this is staff side. We do go into a bit of detail, even as much as brand names at some for some of these. For like guitars and stuff like that, we try to have a little bit more of a generic bib. Now, this one, for instance, it is a craftsman level, but I don't think that's necessarily important. So I could see this being turned into a more general bib for someone else to use it as well. But if we wanted to look this up specifically, then we could use those keywords. I do have crib sheets here for all kinds of things, but we do have a lot of this is equipment and games and jigsaw puzzles, board games, card games. So they're all very varying different ones, and these were made by our consortium cataloger, Liz Rudloff. And these, are just pristine examples of how one could catalog this specific genre of library of things, so that if one of our member libraries is cataloging something on their own, they can have something to look at. Now, I have a colleague who is in this meeting that I might put on the spot, because Karen Young is one of our consortial libraries, and their library has done something that is so cool with their library of things. Karen, are you here? And is there something that I can search that will
I
show that?
I am here, Kate. If you look up, I'm gonna drop a TCN in the chat and then it should take you right to it.
Okay, perfect.
That should, if I can figure out. Hang on.
I have to find the chat because
Oh,
when you're sharing your
Um,
screen, that is not easy.
okay. Sewing machine is a good example of our PDF uploads, but I think you're going to get a bunch of sewing machines.
Yeah.
Oh, try air quality monitor.
Okay. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm going to let you talk about this, Karen.
So unfortunately, I realized during this meeting that we're having a little bit of an Aspen issue, but basically, what we did is we uploaded all of our instruction manuals for our library of things items that are kind of high tech and have like instruction manuals people probably want to have access to. So we always scanned all of those in anyway, so we could replace them in the kit if they went missing. But in the interest of having them available, regardless of what's going on with the actual kit, we uploaded the PDFs into Aspen. So this is not in Evergreen. This is in our discovery layer in Aspen. And then I created brief little mark records to effectively create a side load for these and tie them to our upload. And then I grouped them with the actual object. So like when you look up our air quality monitor, if you saw where Kate clicked, it's basically a grouped work that includes the PDF of the instruction manual and the object that you can place a hold on. So it's all accessible through our catalog for patrons. How much they're using it, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's a fun feature. If anybody actually discovers it, it hopefully is useful. The issue we're having is that they now say unknown format. I thought I had given that sideload the name. That button used to say instructions and manuals, so it was clear what that was. But the link out button does still say view the instruction manual. So like our sewing machine has like 4 different instruction manuals. So it has a button for each of them, like view the sewing guide, view the accessory guide, view the all the different things that go along with it. And so yeah, this is mostly for our tech items. Like we're not putting board game instructions in there. But I don't think I think that would be less useful. Anyway, so yeah, that was just a fun little project we did through a side load in Aspen to kind of make parts of those available. I don't know, Kate, was that kind of what you were?
Absolutely.
Cool.
This
Okay,
was one
good.
of the coolest thing. I just found out that one of our consortial libraries was doing this at our users conference last month. One of the coolest things I've ever seen. I don't care if patrons are using it or not, because it's super cool. And I know as staff members, that very likely could be very convenient for them.
Yeah, it's a cool Aspen feature. You might be able to do it in other discovery layers too. But I did see many of the consortiums before Kate was presenting also showing Aspen displays. So yeah.
All right, that's about all that we've got here at Missouri Evergreen. We love our library of things that we are able to offer that service. But as noted already, holds can be kind of tricky. And now, and seeing that other library consortia don't share bib records with other libraries, like within the same consortium, that makes a lot of sense to me because we are continually fighting not sending library of things items across the state. Um, so I've already gotten a lot of great ideas here. Thanks, guys.
This is fabulous. And I know Kate's going to share a lot of the crib sheets that Liz
Yeah,
did. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, I'll get that link in the document.
Marvelous. Okay, I think I found the air quality monitors from the Aspen side, so I'll link to that too so everybody can see. Oh, I should put it in chat instead of just in the notes. Okie doke. All right, Kate,
I'm trying to find out how to make Elizabeth.
how
Do
to
you want to
clone
share?
her?
Do you need to share your screen, Elizabeth?
Yes.
If I could.
Okay, I am figuring. Let me find you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in the beginning because you have your camera on. Got it.
She's
Make
even
host.
smiling at you. Hi.
Hi. Thank you all. I'm just going to preface this as I am not a cataloger, so please be kind. uh, in Spark, we provide, or excuse me, everyone can build their own records to the degree which they uh, put detail in is up to them. We do share records. For the most part, people tend not to because, as you can see, they do really love to put those custom cover images. So a lot of the items that are in the catalog don't have like specific makes and models. So if it's a cake pan, it might be could be 10 different versions of a dinosaur cake pan, and you really want to see which dinosaur you're getting. So we tend not to have a lot of things that are doubled up, but we do have like a board games tend to have multiple copies on it. Our hold policies are set up so that the items stay within the owning library or owning library system, and so we have some spiderweb concoctions of holds policies to make that happen. So I could talk about that if you'd like, if you're interested, but it would kind of really send us off on another tangent. So we'll stick to library of things. So just for promotion, we are slowly migrating people over to Aspen. So these are all examples of in the OPAC, the Evergreen OPAC. Again, a lot of our libraries have carousels with all of their custom items, and you kind of get to see what exactly you're getting. We like to show the Wild Missing Library because they did a lot of work on theirs. And also they have this game called Flickin' Chicken, which just makes me laugh every time because I have no idea what you're doing with it, but it sounds like a dark game with rubber chickens. Our records are, again, as robust as the library wants to make them. I am going to steal some of the examples that folks have for templates, so that'll help people a lot, I think. And they do tend to either put a local note or a 653 subject heading for Library of Things in there to make it searchable if they can't. For shared records, do your libraries use parts to choose which item they want? They tend to put one item on the record. So if it's like Monopoly, it's just that version of Monopoly. It's like the OG Monopoly. Not, oh, that's bad. I'll look into that. It's not like any of the fun variations. So if there's like, I know there's like an office version of Monopoly, that would have its own separate record. And like the kids Monopoly would have its own record. So they tend to be itself. Yeah, we have a hard time with parts, so we really don't we have very limited use of it. So yeah. So Flickin' Chicken. And then we also have, a lot of people have shelving locations. Like this is the Altoona Library. They have a whole tool library. So people can just search for everything that's in the tool lending library shelving location to find it. You can see they get kind of particular about like call number or the distributor. So they kind of have an idea of who made what. Like this is the Lowe's model of the handsaw and things like that. So that's fun. My local library has a metal detector that I keep wanting to check out. It's always out. So I guess I'm gonna have to put myself on hold for it. So whether they choose to be holdable or not holdable, that's again up to the library. Some charge, so sometimes they have item prices or deposit prices in them, in that element. Yeah, ours are pretty standard, but I'm really excited to implement some of the things that the other libraries are doing in that regard. Any questions? Everybody covered everything else ahead of me, so.
I'm loving the mini waffle maker though.
I know.
I wanted to mention, since so many of us are using Aspen and it's been mentioned quite a few times here. So when you're in Evergreen and you upload your own cover image in Evergreen, previous to 3.16 or even just recently in 3.16, that wouldn't share with Aspen, that they didn't communicate very well. It was kind of hit or miss. That's why so many of our Aspen things don't have a cover photo, even though they actually do. But that's been fixed, I believe. I saw it in the upgrade or what, when we had an update, that it's working now. But unfortunately, I don't think it, looks at the past stuff that you've already done. So, but I think that would be such a fun project. I don't know if you'd call it fun or not, but either making, your own digital covers for your library of things stuff, maybe that are matchy matchy, or if you, like Elizabeth just showed some of, that looked very pleasing to the eye, the way that they have done their covers.
Yeah, they did a really nice job. I think they're product covers and then they might have adjusted them, but personally, I like knowing what I'm going to be getting, so I think it works really well for them.
I also think that this is kind of a tangent, sorry guys, that if you load it in Evergreen, I think that the quality is not as good when it goes over to Aspen. I think loading the cover into Aspen as well, not just relying on it to get it from Evergreen. I think that it's a clearer picture myself.
Note from Chris at Noble saying for cover images, they asked our vendor and they were able to send a backlog of images to catch up Aspen after the upgrade. That's kind of cool. So yes, that was a fun project, I'm sure. All right. Elizabeth, Mystic is not yet on, they're still on the regular OPAC, right?
Correct, but they're
Okay.
migrating this summer. So the only library that we have on Aspen that has library of things at the moment uses a third-party product, so they don't have their things cataloged.
Okay, got
I
it.
didn't, I didn't want to demo that and then be like, look, this is this thing you could pay for.
There's this really cool thing that, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Our libraries have created some really cool library of things images. Some are just standard. They take a picture of whatever it is, but some, let's see. I like Sterling's.
I need a place to put that. Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm getting that.
Okay,
you
those
said
are really cute.
Yeah.
adorable. And you add them straight to Aspen.
Yes, we load them into Aspen. And we do that for the libraries. We don't let them load things into Aspen because,
Yep.
well, the images, but also we're still doing side loading for them, but that's a separate thing. They do complain a bit that there aren't images in Evergreen, but that's more for, other material, not just, oh, East Long Meadow's nice too. Yeah, just because we don't want any unexpected errors.
Sure.
Jennifer, Julia has her hand up. She has a question.
Julia, I'm so sorry. I'm so not used to people raising their hands in this group. Just start talking, Julia.
That's fair.
We don't stand
That's
on
fair.
formality.
I didn't want to interrupt.
No, no, go ahead.
So as I said right at the beginning, so OCLN recently moved to Evergreen. Historically, all of our bib records have been shared for library things, and they are super, super brief because they're trying to be as general as possible. So it's like sewing machine. That's it. Um, and people are starting to say like, hey, not all sewing machines are created equal. We want more information. So we're revamping. Long story. My question is, does anybody, it seems like everyone so far has been like, the libraries create their records, we give them guidance, but they're not considered like, they're not cataloged centrally in any way. Does anybody do that? Am I setting myself up for a catastrophe by suggesting we should do that?
We're totally central, Biblimation. We
Yeah,
don't allow,
bibliomation.
yeah, we
Okay.
don't allow any editing or creating of MARC records in the database. We do it all
Okay.
for them.
Okay.
I will say that Westchester is the same. All of our cataloging is central, and libraries do no like bibliographic level cataloging. We also have fairly specific records, but they are shared by libraries. So we might have, like, we have, a fair number of libraries that have different like heart rate monitors seems to be kind of a big one. So we may have a couple different records for heart rate monitors depending on the model. So we have our libraries send us, whatever, all the information about it. We'll create those records. If somebody, says, hey, I have a heart rate monitor, but it's a different one than that's in the catalog. Well, yeah, give us your information and we'll add that record. And it's like that for most things.
That sounds more like what we're sort of planning to do. So
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
it works really well for us. So it's kind of the established, thing. There are maybe a few that are more generic, like, if you have a cake pan, if it's, we have a Disney princess cake pan, I think. That might just be any sort of princess cake pan or heart-shaped cake pan. So it's not 100% foolproof, but most of them are pretty unique to that specific object, but we will have duplicates of like a type of thing.
That makes sense. Yeah, we've got some that are like garden trowel. Like, I don't know if people care between the
Yeah, those
exact.
things, if it doesn't matter that much, it's like I just put it all on one.
Okay. Thank you.
And thanks, Lindsay. Excellent information. All right, and we're getting notes from Worcester here too. For the holds conversation, since we're in the vicinity of other small towns, we allow holds to all patrons in the consortium, but have 500 notes that state games are available to all CW Mars library card holders. Games must be picked up at and returned to the Worcester Public Library main branch. Staff know not to send things in transit if patron doesn't change the pickup library. Hopefully allow for more circs as well. Very interesting. So you have some nice, very specific best practices there going on. Nice. Thanks for sharing that. I'm very interested in the policies that go around. So the images are the cool thing, right? You get to see them in the library, then you're making it happen and making it work for just the libraries and just the patrons. So you're not shipping these things all over town.
I have a general question.
Mhm.
I will not raise one. Um, I've been on I guess a one-man crusade against the term realia. I was wondering if anyone else is disappearing that word. I've come from I was working at a library for many years until very recently, and it was one of those technical words that just intimidated people, and I didn't want to see it anymore. Particularly in Aspen, I've been updating Noble Zone mark templates, and I've been making sure I don't see that word in Aspen. I was wondering if I'm the only one, or
I would like to disappear realia as a any kind of like descriptor. We have an entire statistical category, realia, that is kind of applied to some of our library of things stuff, and I hate it because it's useless.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you. I have not taken any particular actions, but yeah, same.
Here, here.
The Aspen documentation does have a very nice breakdown of how things get assigned formats. Reality was one of the first words I looked up.
I have not paid attention to it, but now that I'm looking it up, I might go in and do some changing of things. So we do have some realia.
I also really liked Elizabeth's carousel of Library of Things. That was nice.
I can't take credit for it, but yes, I really like the library is like you want to do library of things, this is how we recommend you do it. Because people aren't gonna think to look up Geek Pants or cooking things. So having that visual carousel is helpful.
And you'll be able to, of course, take that whole carousel concept over to Aspen as well. Does anybody that's using Aspen, do you have browse categories for library of things?
Some libraries will set them up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure there are
Yeah.
some libraries who have set them up.
Great. Okay, great. I see some very specific ones. I'll taking notes. I'll go back and find examples to add. Oh, thank you, Karen. I'm just going to grab that example for our notes. Yep. Like, well, it was a lovely new fiction category. Okay, now I've got the library of things. Well, you all learned I'm not watching if you're raising your hand, so just go ahead and speak if there's any other questions. We've got a couple of minutes. I don't think new devs are using this channel, so if we go over a few minutes, we're okay.
Jennifer,
Mm-hmm.
Jess has a document, an in-house document for our procedural guidelines. Can she
Yeah,
send that to you and you can put it up on the list or something?
absolutely. I would love that. I was trying to find the Google site that Carol had, and I had the same thought there. Yes, anything you want to send me, I will make sure it goes up on this notes document, and then also I am in my mind envisioning an extra page on our cataloging interest group wiki page that talks specifically about this, so we can highlight it. That's on my late June list, but I'll definitely put it somewhere so we can link to it here. Yeah, and just keep throwing notes here, and I will add them for now. And then I'll put descriptions on what they are. Thanks for the Aspen format, Chris. Appreciate that one. And I think I've got, nope, there's another one. Elizabeth, let me get yours. Clean up notes after. That's the same thing. Okay, now I'm duplicating things. So I hope there's some great ideas out there. Like I said, my goal from this is to take everything that you've shared, all of your ideas, and get them into just a, library of things, resources kind of places there that we can keep adding to. So, which goes along with if anybody that's new here or, just wants to be inspiring to others, would like to help with updating the wiki, this is a great opportunity to get involved just in helping with putting together the wiki page for Library of Things. You can raise your hand now if you'd like, or just email me offline. That would be excellent. Always looking for other people to keep up, help with that. Oh, grabbing Carol's notes. Resources just turned into links, but I will clean this. Okay.
Yes, they have a Library of Things, and they have subcategories as well for Library of Things and Children's Library of Things and Kits.
Oh, cool. And we can spend a little more time talking about, because that's we can do some cool other things too, as far as if you're looking for something related to that with placards and being able to find that. But that's beyond today. This has been great. I love seeing what you're doing. And the common thing for the libraries that are allowed to just do their own thing, now you're thinking about, okay, but you have to have parts to make it work, and what happens when you're sharing. So many considerations that I hope now that those of you that are considering it, adding Library of Things, recognize you've got a whole host of people out here that are working through the same issues, and you can reach out to them. Where can we find a link for the wiki for Library of Things? It's not there yet, Sandy. Give me a moment. But it'll be I will add it off of the Cataloging Interest Group wiki, and I'll just create a new tab there that'll say, no, I'm sorry. But that's my plan, is to take all this information. For now, you'll be able to find this notes document is already on the wiki. In fact, let me provide you a little more note other than saying it's not there. The meeting notes are here on this link, and this document will be that we're using today to gather notes, and I'll clean it up a little bit. It's already there actually. So it's there for the agenda and minutes for today, the June meeting, so that you can get back to this quickly without having to save the bookmark for the notes document. All right. Karen, something that came up a few times in discussions today is how different consortia make use of monograph parts. True. Is that something we could discuss further at a future? Yes, absolutely. We can discuss at a future cataloging interest group meeting. We would love to do that. We have actually had these conversations, and we always feel like we need to do it again and again and over because there's so much to talk about it. And it's been quite a while, probably over a year or so. So yeah, let's do that again. The organizing group is meeting later this month, so we'll put that on the top of our list. And thank you, Karen, for that idea. Anybody else has ideas they want to throw at us while we're all together, please add those to the chat, because like I said, we're meeting to start planning the next few months. July is going to be bug squashing, but we don't have anything planned from August forward. So we're going to start looking at that. If you have ideas now, send them to us in chat, or just send me a quick email, or just send a note to the listserv. So many ways to get in touch with us. Anybody else have questions? I know we're a little over now, but I don't want to rush anybody. If you have questions, suggestions, ideas. Big thanks to Mary and Carol. Well, Mary and Jess and Carol and Cynthia and Kate and Elizabeth for taking time to show us all the work that you're doing. So yes, as Darcy said, thanks to all the presenters, in case I missed anybody. I really do appreciate it. This has been great. Yes, Kate, I agree to do a cross meeting with the Aspen group on cataloging functions in Aspen. I would very much like that too. They meet. How often do they meet?
Like quarterly or every other month?
Yeah, so their next one is in August. We could ask if they have a plan for August. I'm jotting that down now.
Or I could ask, because it's probably Sierra.
It
And
is
Sierra did
Sierra.
come last year for a meeting
Yes,
as
yeah.
well. So there's probably a recording on the site
It is.
from last year.
Yeah, and she introduced Aspen. This would be a great follow-up to that.
Mhm.
We'll be glad to crash the the Aspen for Evergreen meeting, or invite Sarah to ours again. Either way. So yeah, I would love to do
Sierra.
that. Sierra. Yes, Sierra. I've got her there. Yeah, so Carol, if you'll follow up, that'd be great.
Okay.
And then our schedule, is open from August forward. Like literally we could either join one of hers, or if it just makes more sense to have the conversation within the cataloging interest group, let's do that. The crossover is great. All righty. Well, we'll wrap up. Thanks for everybody for being here, for sharing in the ooh and ah that is, hey, look how cool that is with Library of Things, but then all the mechanics underneath. So thanks again to everybody, and we will see you in July. Have a lovely June.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Hit them host again so I can figure out how to stop recording.
And
There it is. Gosh, it took me forever to figure out how to stop recording. Well, it says I'm recording. Can I stop recording? I guess if we just hang up, we'll stop recording.
we will.
Yeah. Okay, good enough. Oh, there it is. I found